This time on Rad Rat Video, we're playing a Tony Hawk's American Sk8land on the original DS. What are the chances it's any good? Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, a channel where you can learn new things about skateboarding or watch me play every skateboarding game ever made. It might take me a while, but I'm slowly making my way through it. Today I'm playing a game called Tony Hawk's American Sk8land, and this came about in kind of an interesting way. So a long time ago, I mentioned a game called Tony Hawk's Motion that is on the DS. I didn't have any way to play it because it needs both the DS slot and the Game Boy slot. There's a motion sensor in there. I didn't have a DS. I had a 3DS, and I could play on my computer too, but a fan of the show named Bryan decided to dig out his old DS and send it to me so that I could play it. But I still don't have that game. What he recommended and what he sent along is a game called Tony Hawk's American Sk8land. And this is obviously a DS port of American Wasteland, which was a PS2, Xbox, GameCube game. And it was one of the more complicated ones too. So what are the chances that it's any good? On the one hand, it was made by Vicarious Visions, and they ported the old Pro Skater games to Game Boy Advance, and they were really, really good. I had those when they came out and I loved them. So if anyone could do it, it'd be them. On the other hand, American Wasteland is one of the most complicated, sophisticated systems games that the Tony Hawk series ever produced. You can run on the walls and do backflips. You can ride around on a bike. You can do not just spine transfers, but acid drops and bank drops. You can do just a myriad of different things in that game. There's Burt slides. There's tons and tons of stuff. What are the chances that all that stuff was able to survive being played on this very well-loved DS? Let's find out. The first thing I noticed is the graphics and the overall style, which I like. Your board is enormous. It's like 18 inches wide or something. It's more like a wake skate. But because your screen is so small and the screen resolution is so low, it actually helps you make out what trick it is that you're doing. Overall, the game looks like the PS1 classics, and it even borrows a lot of the sounds, which I liked a lot. The skating engine feels a lot like Tony Hawk 4, with some of those nollie animations missing, like the nollie inward heels and 360 flips. But they patched in some of the moves from American Wasteland that you probably didn't want. The most annoying of these is Burt slides. I beat the entire game. Not once was I asked to do one of these, but you can do it by hitting L. The problem is that's the same button you use to switch to nollie. There's no animation for stepping up to the nose anymore either, by the way. But you tap it really quick for that, or you hold it for a fraction of a second longer to do a Burt slide, which is worthless. You'll do it on accident a lot. This trick could have been lifted right out of the game and we all would have been a lot happier for it. We also could have ditched focus mode. In the console games, you click in the left stick to slow the game down. You go into slow motion, which is helpful on big combos because it helps you react quicker to your balance meter. In this game, you have to tap an icon on the screen. You'll do it once in the challenge and you'll probably never do it again. In fact, there are so many features like acid drops, spine transfers, flips, and rolls that you'll still be getting tutorials until the last level. Also, the special air tricks are done by tapping the screen. Special grinds and manuals are still like they are in the base games. It's kind of annoying. Another minor issue is the spins. Even playing on the harder mode, it tries to help you spin a little easier. Even doing a straight 360 flip gets hard when your stats are too high. Just tapping down left for a second like that is enough to send you into a spin. It's not a big deal, but you do have to be careful and make sure you're still flying straight before you land. There are also some spots where it's really hard to turn around and you get stuck bouncing on stuff. Nothing drives me crazier in a game, as you might know if you watched my Skate Jam review. Like, why are there even blocks here? On the plus side, they did take out a lot of the trash in the main game. There's no walking at all. There's still tagging goals, but you just skate and slow down to a stop and then hit A. That's it. There's no wall running and wall flips. No climbing buildings, no cavemans, no BMX sections. The story and the cutscenes are cut way down, and this makes the game a lot more focused on the actual skating that you like doing. And I also like that wall ride camera angle too. You know, overall, the engine is really good. Just the way that the game plays, just cruising around and doing stuff, does actually feel good. And the way I judge that is based on the fact that when I stopped recording, when I did my last goal for that session, and I stopped recording, I still played for a while. I just cruised around, I did some tricks, I explored the level, I saw if I could hit this gap. I was just playing for the fun of playing. And the fact that cruising around and just playing it feels good actually says a lot. And it says a lot, especially in comparison to some of the newer games, Tony Hawk 5 or Tony Hawk Skate Jam. Like this plays better than those. And so that's a big point in this one's favor. So what's it actually like to play through the career? It feels a lot like Tony Hawk 4 on the PlayStation 1. You skate around, you talk to a person, and a text box comes up to tell you what they want you to do, and then you go do it. And historically, I've complained about these little story things. It's kind of annoying seeing all the in-world excuses for why you're collecting skate letters or whatever the case may be. But this game has two ways to avoid that problem. First of all, it's text. There isn't a long-winded story about what you're doing, it's just a box or two. And your character will reply and summarize what you're supposed to do, so you can skip all of that flavor text if you want. This is huge. I can't tell you how many times I've been confused and lost in these later PS2 era games, because they'll tell you to grind the ledge, but there's no way to know which one, and you start so far away that it's not obvious. This one is so much more clear than the other games. And also, these are kind of funny. Like in this one, you have to deliver food. The guy says that you have to do it in a manual because that will distract them from noticing that you're so late, which I thought was pretty good. The second thing that helps is the map. The map shows you where the skate and the combo letters are, and it helps you with a lot of stuff. Not everything is on there, like the fire hydrants and the tag locations, but it makes things so much more clear, so that the challenge comes from actually completing the task, not figuring out what to do. I just played Tony Hawk 4 on the PS2 again, but with 0 stats, and there's essentially no chance of collecting combo on your first try, because you just don't know where they are until you go scout it out. This game solves that problem. It also solves a problem that's exclusive to this version, draw distance. You have to be pretty close to a collectible before it pops up on the screen sometimes, so you'll be relying on that map a lot. Here's the structure of the game. Free skate around the level and do some challenges. 99% of the time you'll run into the NPC, and you have to wait for them to stand up before you can actually talk to them. But when you get enough of these challenges done, a pro will show up in the level. Impress him by doing his challenge, and he'll donate some money to unlock a spot in your skate park. You use your cash to buy a new box or rail or hip or something. It's a one-tap thing. You don't have to move it around and fine-tune it and place it carefully. But I never took the time to do that kind of stuff anyway, so I didn't really care. You finish all the levels, then the last level is a skate park that you built. It's similar to the console version, but it's just much smaller in scale. And during these challenges, you're doing the standard stuff. You're collecting skate and combo, you're sketching cars, grinding a specific rail, hitting a certain spine transfer. One weird thing though is that the quest giver takes a while to disappear. So sometimes you'll finish a task, you'll start to skate away, you'll realize they're still there, start to turn around, and they disappear. Or sometimes you assume they're going to disappear, but they actually have a second challenge for you. It's a small thing, but it is kind of annoying. And another thing to note is that these are usually really easy. Grind a rail, do a lip trick, get 10,000 points. But I'm not complaining, because a chill and simple game feels really good at the moment. They did introduce a new type of goal, which they call horse. Basically, you have to beat some high combo scores without bailing in between. Every bail gets you a letter. So, get a 5,000 point combo, then a 6,000 point combo, then a 7,000 point combo, all the way up to about 10 or 11 or so. It's easy, but I don't remember this being on the console version, so it was worth pointing out. The game did eventually start getting pretty hard though. I was having a tough time getting up to the ledge that I was supposed to grind. I thought maybe that stat points were simplified and just taken out or something like that, but there's actually the same system that there is on the console where you have to do mini challenges to get them higher. Hold a lip trick longer to get more stats out of it, do longer grinds, do a certain number of flip tricks in a combo, or a certain number of grabs in a combo, or a high combo score, stuff like that. I remember the console versions being a little more specific and interesting, like wanting you to do certain tricks, but I just took a half hour, grinded these all out, and got up to perfect stats when I noticed. Speaking of hard challenges though, there's one that I just couldn't get to work. I'm supposed to do a special air trick over this huge spine transfer. It's one of the on-screen buttons, so I have to drop my controller and grab my mouse, which is kind of annoying, but I got it done. Didn't count though. I did it over on the left side of the pillar, nothing happened. It starts you on the right side, but there's no quarter pipe behind you here, so it's kind of annoying. But I managed to get one on this side too, nothing happened. Did it coming back the other way? Nothing. I retried this one a bunch of times. Eventually I did all 3 specials over the spine, and finally that worked. But you know, usually there's a ton of challenges that are either confusing or they don't work at all, and having only one really isn't that bad by Tony Hawk standards. In this last level, you get to play as all the pros. They'll tell you what they want to do, and then you control them to do the actual challenge. In theory, I think they're filming a video to sell for more money for the skate park or something. Not that the story matters even a little. You can play as Day One Song, except he's somehow in regular stance, but this isn't that bad. And then you get to the final challenge. Now this is going to be tough. Okay, Tony Hawk shows up. He wants you to prove that you've really made it. And he wants you to do an NBD, a Japan 900. Oh, I think it took 2 tries. And then it just drops you back into the main menu. And this is when I noticed that there's a classic mode in this version. This is the mode that brings back the timer. You have to collect skate and combo, get high scores and that kind of stuff. Each level also has some kind of gap to do, like 50-50 the billboard gap, get the secret tape, you know, that standard classic stuff. And I lost the recording for most of these levels, but I think you get the point. Most of this kind of stuff is required in the main game, except they really lean into the notice spins. They're required on every level in classic mode. But you kind of know what to expect out of this, so I won't say too much more, but it is good. You know, American Sk8land is probably one of the better games I've reviewed on this channel in quite a while, and that's saying a lot. The DS has about as much power as a mechanical pencil, and so like comparing that to a new game on phones or Tony Hawk 5 on the Xbox One, you know, reviewing that stuff and seeing that it's terrible, and then reviewing this and it actually works well. You know, you skate around, it feels solid, the engine feels good, you do the trick you intended to do, everything feels like it's not going to crash any second. I didn't run into a lot of glitches and stuff. Sometimes the camera did weird stuff, but like nothing broke. It just felt good. And this actually bodes well, this engine bodes well for sequels that may have come out, except I looked it up. And the next one was Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam, which I reviewed the Wii version of that right here. It was okay, but I wouldn't bother to play it. So I'm probably going to skip that on the DS, but the one after that was Tony Hawk's Motion. And that game got terrible reviews. It's supposed to be unfinished, and it is the reason why I now have a DS. So I'm going to track that down eventually. If you have it, don't offer to send it to me because I really don't want it. I'm going to accidentally run into it at a store and have no choice but to buy it. But yeah, we'll worry about that some other time. For now, I'm just enjoying having this game. Considering what's going on in the world right now and how we're all on lockdown and like everything sucks, having just a chill, decent game that's easy and pretty short that you can just breeze through and relax with is just what the doctor ordered. At least what they might order if you could actually get an appointment. So that's it for this game. Stay tuned. Who knows what I'm going to do next? I have no idea. Make sure you subscribe by tapping my logo on screen right there so that you can make sure you see whatever it is I come up with next. There's YouTube recommended videos in the sidebar over there. If you did like the video, hit the like button. You can also go to radratvideo.com and buy some very handsome t-shirts and check out the blog version of this post and all kinds of other stuff on there. Thanks for watching.